Hey guys, welcome to Politically Provoked, an interactive podcast where we host debates, panels, and interviews. If this is your first time joining us, please like, share, subscribe, follow. We are primarily on YouTube, but you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and BitChute. All the information is in the banner below, or you can just search Politically Provoked and we should pop right up. Politically Provoked is a neutral ground where people from across the political spectrum can either duke it out in a debate or just have a casual discussion in one of our panels. Either way, we try to represent both left and right-wing views on every episode. I'm your left-wing host, Brittany, and this is your right-wing host, Todd. How are you, Todd?
Hey, doing great, Brittany. How you doing today?
I'm doing very good. All right. Yeah. So tonight we are doing our great debate panel. We are hosting these every week. It'll be on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And it's for a Facebook group called The Great Debate. And they are primarily UK and US. So that's why we're doing it at this time. So I'm going to bring on some of the members of the group and then we will get going. So first up, we've got Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, how are you?
Good, yeah. So if you want to give a brief introduction, tell people a little about yourself and where you lie on the political spectrum.
Yeah, sure. I'm Nathan, obviously, as you can see, and the fact that I had my profile picture set to Lula da Silva might be a bit of a giveaway. I'm sort of roughly speaking, a libertarian socialist.
Okay. All right. So next we have Pedro. How are you, Pedro?
Hi guys, welcome.
Hi.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
So give a brief introduction. Tell people a little about yourself and where you lie on the political spectrum.
Yeah. Once again, my name is Pedro. I'm from the Lyceum podcast. On the political spectrum, where I lie, I would say it's center right. Really, I say that because I can identify that there's crazies on both sides, and I don't want to really align myself with those views because a lot of negative connotations automatically come into play. I really am just a regular guy like you all out there, and I'm interested in primarily defending the Christian faith and the American Constitution.
All right, thank you. All right, so next we have somebody brand new. We have Jack. How are you, Jack?
I'm fine. Are you?
Good. Yeah. So if you want to give a brief introduction, tell people a little bit about yourself and where you lie on the political spectrum.
Yeah, I'm from Northern England. I'm a bit like Pedro. I don't really fit either way, really. I'm somewhere in the middle. I describe myself as a nationalist and a liberal at the same time.
Okay, thank you. We do have one more person. We do have one more person that is coming to join us, but they are having some technical issues. So when they get it worked out, we will bring them on. So yeah, so some of the topics we are going to be talking about tonight, we are talking about religion, immigration, and then pulling out of Afghanistan. So I think we'll start with religion. I'm an agnostic, atheist, Jew. So, and I'm not a good Jew either. Like, I got kicked out of Hebrew school, so I'm like, religion is definitely not my subject. But Pedro, this is your jam, so I figure why don't you get us started?
Yeah, so I'm Christian. The core tenet of the Christian faith is simply this. The author of the Bible is the God of the universe who created it, and more importantly, created you. Unfortunately, due to sin and our rebellion, we are separated from him. In order for us to be reconciled or reunited with him and made peace with God, God already knew that he would have to enter into his creation and die for those people, Jesus Christ. If you pretty much rely all your faith in Jesus and turn away from your sin, we're not asking you to, do something weird like shave your head and go eat rice on a hill for the rest of your life. We're not asking you to empty your bank account and donate it to some weird cause. We're simply saying, when we say turn away from your sin, acknowledge the sin in your life, right? And then see that there's only one person who's able to defeat that and reconcile you with God because of that, and that's Jesus Christ.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Are you religious at all, Jack?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
I'm an atheist. The way I see it, there's no there's as much proof for the Christian God as there is for any other God. None.
Yeah, I think one of the best memes I would
I agree.
see is, 2 words that no religion could withstand is prove it. So, you guys, can you, Todd, can you take over for a minute? I just got to grab something.
Yeah, I got it. So I am definitely a Christian. I like to bring in Dr. Stephen Meyer on this thing because people love to, you don't have any proof. Well, he prescribes to intelligent design. I definitely didn't come from any monkey. So if you guys did and you want to believe that, that's fine. I also don't ever force it down anyone's throat. I want you for your own, for your own salvation to listen to the word of the Lord, but I don't ever force it. So that's my position. I am definitely a Christian. I don't need it to be proven to me because it's already been proven to me. So Nathan, I also find people always shitting on religion. Wasn't that something that Marx did a lot too? I mean, didn't he want the state to become the ultimate religion? So maybe you can expand on that for me.
Well, Karl Marx was an atheist, and he believed that religion was sort of a useful tool to help people, sort of guide them through their suffering, etc., etc. And he also believed that it was used for social control, which I think is true.
Really quick before, so Brandon's here, so I'm going to bring him on and let him introduce himself before we get going. Hello, got it worked out?
Hi, I think so. I'm really sorry about that. How's everybody doing?
Good, yeah. So if you want to introduce yourself really quick and tell people where you lie on the political spectrum.
Sure. So I'm Brandon. I stream on Twitch, Facebook, Mediocre Politics, Mediocre Gaming. I consider myself kind of far left. Jesus.
That can overlap in a way with a lot of these go far left enough or far right enough, you end up on the other side.
Yeah, something like that, horseshoe theory. So I guess in the short term, people would consider me a social democrat, something like a Bernie bro. Long term, maybe, I don't know. I go back and forth between just fully planned, some sort of socialism, or a mix of planning and market. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we are starting with religion. Are you religious at all?
I am not.
You are not. So, okay, so from this entire panel, really, it's just Pedro and Todd. Todd, are you? I guess I missed what you said. Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm a Christian conservative, and yep, I've got a Bible. I've got stuff highlighted in it, and like I said, I don't need it to be proven to me because I believe in it. So I was brought up as a Christian my whole life. Maybe that has something to do with it, but like I said, I don't need it to be proven to me because I believe in it. And like I said, I don't want to force it down anybody's throat. That's why you ask. You don't really know. I never try to convert you, or even it doesn't come up in our daily conversations, but I do for everyone in here who don't believe. Hey, I would like you to believe for your own salvation, not for mine. So anyway,
when was the last time you went to church?
Probably about a year ago. So I was raised Catholic, but I'm definitely out of the Catholic Church with all the kid diddling. I don't play that. So
wise choice.
So anyway.
Yeah, it's like Todd said on our interview. We're a little bit outgunned here, or outnumbered. We're not outgunned here. Do you guys want to just start on your side? I'll not anything negative, but you said you were agnostic and atheist, Brittany?
Yeah.
Okay. Agnostic, they believe in a God, but they don't know it is. Atheist, they don't believe in a God, period. So it's kind of like...
agnostic is more like you just don't know. You kind of...
okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And
like
so,
you can't really prove it.
Yeah, no. I think everybody's technically agnostic, but I lean more towards an atheist. So...
Okay.
So I just kind of say both. But yeah, I know there's no way that anybody can ever say, okay, yeah, this is for sure, there's God. Nobody would be the biggest scientific breakthrough if they could prove it, but
right. Well, I'll give it to your side first, because we can obviously see the line here. Do you guys want to ask me and Todd questions first, and we can go that way, or how do you want to do this? I have a question already.
I've got one lined up for you too. Yeah, go on if you want to go.
Okay, so on us. Okay, so Christianity, God, the Bible brings purpose, meaning, and value to life, right? Why is that? Because there brings in an ultimate judge at the end, and like Todd said, it's not just random. There's an intelligent design and a purpose to our life when we were created. But from kind of the perspective of, I would say on your side, I don't really see that. If we go with I've read a little bit about it, and tell me if this isn't the scientific consensus. You can stop me, but let me know. But we were stardust. Randomly, an implosion happened. We accelerated toward pond scum, and then we became monkeys, and now we are here. So when you get there in that timeline, I just want to, can you define to me, what is the meaning in that? What is the value? How do you find purpose when you say that's what I describe to, which is the scientific community's overwhelming definition? Do
you want me to go?
Anybody can go.
I'll take it. I mean, I don't think that the quote unquote ultimate judge is what gives life meaning. I don't think that life has any inherent meaning at all. I mean, I think that the only meaning of life is the meaning that we give it. So we might as well live a good one.
And I will also point out, I basically agree with that sentiment. It seems like, as far as I can tell, the only meaning that life has is any sort of meaning that we give it. But let's say that, because I hear this a lot, people like to compare like evolution and religion. Even if evolution is completely false, that wouldn't be an argument that God exists. So
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to correct that really quick. We on the Christian side don't actually believe that there's no such thing as evolution. Evolution is what? Take an example for the bubonic plague. A bunch of people who are not able to biologically defend themselves because of their immune system against the virus died. What happened were survivors who did have a trait were able to survive. That trait, therefore, was passed down into genealogy. The population evolved in order to survive. So we don't believe in evolution. We don't not believe in evolution. Evolution is very much a real thing. I just think that's all the time a wonky thing they put on us. Like, I would give my child medicine if we had produced some kind of serum in order to cure an ailment, right? If their immune system isn't able to do it. We believe in science. We believe in science, but I think we're having a problem here where you can't give meaning, logic, or reason from science if it's all just random chaos.
What do you mean we can't give meaning to logic and reason? What do you mean by that?
Well, somebody on your side already said, and I don't want to point. Yeah, Nathan said that there's no meaning at all. If I'm quoting him right, it's just a meaning we give it.
There's no objective meaning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no inherent meaning to anything that happens in the universe beyond just what we arbitrarily decide.
Okay.
Now, see, I honestly wouldn't even.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, I honestly wouldn't even make that big of a claim. I would just be agnostic on that position, there being objective meaning. I wouldn't actually make the claim that there is no objective meaning. I would just be agnostic.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let me ask you a question now, Pedro.
Yes.
How old is the Earth? How old is the Earth? According to Christians?
I would be kind of a person who doesn't really care about the age of the Earth in the grand scheme of things of God's plan. I don't think that's actually something that we should be focusing on. If you put a gun to my head, though, I would say kind of young Earth. But here's what I would kind of want to respond to. You're saying Nathan, once again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on you. You're saying there's no objective meaning.
Him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, I can take it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm just, I want to start my, I want to be friendly. I want this to be a conversation. If there's no meaning, no objective meaning, and everything is just what we give it
Arbitrary.
arbitrary. How do we define like any kind of morals or good and evil? Can you do that for me?
Yeah, sure. I mean, our sense of morality is actually pretty arbitrary as well.
Okay.
To some extent, I think morality is like a social construct, and I think to some extent it's biological as well. I think it's it's a bit of a mix of both, but it's not. I don't think that like an objective morality exists.
It's a survival mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever read Crime and Punishment?
Crime and Punishment
by Dostoevsky.
I've heard it, but I've never unfortunately read it. So I'm sorry. Here, educate me on it.
Yeah, it's about I can't remember the guy's name. It's like some like just completely insane Russian name that I can't even begin to pronounce. But like he kills this just this absolutely awful woman, and like by all accounts, like you would think that like the world would be better. I'm pretty sure this is Crime and Punishment anyway. But he kills this absolutely terrible person, and by all accounts, like from a sort of utilitarian standpoint, the world should be better off without her. But in the towards the end of the book, he starts to go completely insane because his guilt eats at him. But people often like point towards like towards his behavior in Crime and Punishment as how people would behave if they didn't believe in God. In other words, he thought he would get away with it because he did, but ultimately his own morality drove him insane.
Okay.
You want to address this comment maybe from Physio Atheist? Says, I love when religious people try to paint naturalistic explanations as absurd, yet completely ignore the absurdity of their own beliefs. Rib women and talking snakes. So I don't know if you want to address that.
Let's try and see if I can get it home. Usually, what I've been doing, I don't know if you guys noticed, I've been writing down stuff to make sure I'm interacting properly. What I would say to that is the reason why we on this side are able to say, something like the Holocaust or the killing fields in Cambodia are evil is because we have a standard that is objective, written in God's word that says what, thou shalt not kill. And simply based on that, we can just extrapolate, right? But if I come to your side, right, and I say life is what, there is no objective meaning in life. There is only the meaning we give it. Well, the Nazis in Germany in the 1940s defined what is good as throwing Jews in ovens.
They did,
and hunting people, right? So what was it wrong for us, meaning us, because we're all UK and Americans here? Was it wrong for us to go in and rescue those Jews and stop the war and stop the oppression that the?
No, not by my standards.
Not by your standards.
But if you talk to the
No, maybe
if you talk to some people, they might be quite upset.
Because my problem is, you mentioned utilitarianism, right? And if the audience isn't familiar with utilitarianism, it's basically one of its core tenets is just saying that morality is relative. Depending on the time, place, and the community of people, that's what the moral standard is right there.
Yeah.
So
I think it essentially is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to a large degree, anyway.
Okay, so you could, if me and you went to one of the still standing sites, Auschwitz, and we looked at the gates of Auschwitz, and I said, based on the standards written in God's word, what happened here was wrong, and the men who conducted these evil acts will be judged appropriately. What would you say?
I would say that I didn't need the threat of eternal punishment to know that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but if it's all for naught, then who's to say who's right or wrong by doing this shit? So, see, I'm going to take what Sir Isaac Newton said. Okay, right. So that's just weird to me. So I don't know. I see that comment when atheists love to do that. So, but yet you believe that everything came from nothing and just the universe started, and there was an explosion. I know. Well, I'm talking about the commenter. I'm talking about the
Oh,
commenter. We can
this
get
comment.
around.
Okay.
Are you talking about
Yeah,
this
the
comment?
eight-
This seems like a red herring. What does morality?
No.
or
The one earlier
Okay, this
about
was
the
a
rib and the.
yeah. Well, this
You
was
know,
in response, I think, to your what you said. He says this. Yeah. So this seems like a red herring. What does morality or objective meaning have to do with you not understanding naturalistic explanations of the evolution of life or the beginning of the universe? So I don't know if you want to respond to that. No, it
no.
was for
Do you want me?
Oh,
Do you
for
want me to
Pedro,
take
go
a
ahead.
It was for you.
Yeah. I think the problem is so from a naturalistic, materialistic perspective that does not have any kind of objective standard, and thinks that morality is relative and life is just what any group of people at a certain place of time give it. I would have to ask, am I characterizing, when I say all those things just now, am I characterizing that perspective correctly? And then I need to ask, why would I subscribe to the systems when it cannot give me any kind of objective moral standard to life by which we can look at everybody across the world, right? Because we're going to be talking, I don't want to reveal the subjects yet, obviously it's not my show, but we're going to be talking about two things that are going to be involving
No, it's okay.
morality.
I already mentioned that we're going to be talking about immigration in Afghanistan. So
okay,
no
cool.
secret.
So we're going to be talking about those two things, and we're establishing first on these sides, whether we think something is, right. Is there a right or wrong objectively? Is there an objective morality here? Is there a standard that we, as created people, or in your case, I guess you guys call yourselves Stardust, would say, hey, what is the basis on which my argument stands? How can I address those two topics next? So that I'm humbly coming to the other side saying, can you give me a meaning to my life? Mm-hmm. Right? Can you do that?
I don't think I can, but I don't think that religion actually fixes this objective morality problem. How is God's morality any less arbitrary than mine? So like when God says something like, thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not murder, why ought somebody do that?
So I'll take it. The first question, the first question in your statement was, how is God's morality pretty much above mine and supposed to be considered the objective standard?
Basically, yeah. Why is it objective and not some sort of divine subjectivism?
Because he is me and you are going to die one day. We rely on things, right? We have an inability to do anything we want. Correct? We agree on that, Nathan?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Me and you are finite. We will die one day. We require food.
Well, Brandon was, I think, the one asking you the question.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
There you go.
Well, I would more or less agree. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I got the liberals up here on top and the right wingers on the bottom. So.
Okay, cool. So, what I'm trying to get at is God being an eternal, everlasting, free, totally free, perfect being who created all things can do that because of those characteristics, those holy or divine attributes that he has.
But why? But I could grant all of that. But why ought I care about what he thinks about morality? Why ought I follow his morality?
Well, you're asking a Christian who definitely I love everybody here. I love all you guys, and I can say that love is because my God loves you, and also with that love also comes justice, and that you will meet him like one day at an end point. And he yeah, okay. But say you do meet him at the end and the room just doesn't go black like like some of your scientists are telling you the room just goes black. What if you end up at the, in the throne room of God before a holy, perfect, just judge, and you're relying and you're relying on what things in the world that you have done, which you say was all relative, but we know some of them can be considered bad. You're going to rely on that and say, yes, I still deserve heaven and not hell. How do you, I would say the reason why we subscribe over here is not because we, are just purely scared of the sword coming down on our head, but also because this creator was willing to die for us. That's what I would say primarily. But there is a reality where you have to see you're going to be judged by this being, and he's going to just you judgely. What if that's the situation?
I still don't see it.
If he's a loving and forgiving God, why wouldn't he understand our skepticism?
Very good point.
Go on,
he's loving and forgiving. You only know that he's loving and forgiving because he's also just and right? If me and you, if all of us here for some reason witnessed a murder happen or a rape, God forbid, happened, right? We would we would detain that man if we couldn't kill him, obviously. If he's trying to kill us, that's going to have to happen. But we would detain that man. We bring him before the legal court system. And because of the objective standards of God's law that we've laid out and embedded in our judicial system, he will be judged rightly, and he will pay the price for the things that he has done. That's just like the day. Say that same situation, that same scenario, right? What if he didn't murder the person and he just beat him up, right? He still goes to jail, right? And instead of just still killing him, he is forgiven. He's given some time in jail, and he has the opportunity to be welcomed back into society. You've done wrong. You've paid your price. Now you're back over here.
So, I mean, like one thing that I think I've noticed just as a spectator is I feel like with religion, the only time it seems to remotely work is if people have their own moral compass on their own, and they're not relying on religion to get it. And a lot of people that are religious, I think, do look to religion as their morality, and they have to follow that because they literally cannot determine it on their own. And a lot of that shit is pretty freaking outdated. So when you can't make those kind of determinations, you are going to, fall down this rabbit hole we're seeing with a lot of Christians, where it's just been toxic. And I think, just a lot of the Trump type of people, Christians.
But what about Muslims? What about Muslims stoning homosexual? I mean, it's funny. The Christians are always the ones. And I wait. Oh, but so.
Of course, that's outdated too.
Is that okay?
We'll talk.
But they're
keep the pressure on us. We're fine. We can answer all these questions. If we, because honestly, I'm not shutting you down, Todd. Obviously, this is your show, but this is an awesome opportunity for us to properly represent our faith. Couple things there. The first point I would say just to reestablish is the question: why do people rely on religion so hard in order to find their morality? Is that the question? Am I saying it wrong?
Are you talking to me or Todd?
Brittany.
Sorry, can you repeat what you said?
Was the question, why do people rely on the Bible hard in order to find their morals?
No, I'm saying that religion only seems to work if people have a moral compass of their own, and they're not relying on religion to get their moral compass. So a lot of, I feel, with Trump supporters, I see that they don't seem to have a moral compass of their own, and they do rely on religion. And that's why, they kind of almost use religion as a shield to mask their own hatred and stuff. Okay. That's
funny that Trump came up into this situation too. Weird. But anyway,
I do want to. Can I just add something to that? I'm sorry.
I just want to answer Brittany's question.
Okay, yeah, okay? That's fine.
Yeah. So I would say to Brittany, I'm sorry if anyone has used the Bible with the name of, they put a Trump sticker on their Bible and they use it in order to abuse you and try and beat you over the head with their logic. I think that's a false representation of the gospel. I would reject those people. What I would say, if you were, properly, if someone was not abusing God's word and actually interacting with you, they would just be saying to you, the reason why I support Trump is because his things that he bring into the things and the morals and the values he's bringing into office is merely an opportunity, and he's not demanding me to go against my moral compass as a Christian. I have a Bible that is a standard here, right? And I have two parties. I have one party that wants me to pay for an abortion, right? When God's word and his standard says that's not really what we are supposed to be doing, but I have to do it anyway. Whereas under that other leader, Trump, he's just saying, here's opportunities, here's you can do this. And we get to put those up against the standard of God's word. And then we get to, make the choice and follow through. If it's good, then yes. If it's bad, then obviously we reject that. No. So I'm sorry if you've been hurt by people like that. I would say they just weren't representing Christ well. Nathan, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go.
No, that was me. That was me again. It's okay.
I can't. Oh.
No, I'll make this super quick. So, just to piggyback off of what Brittany said. So, she's basically, at least to me, it sounds like she's saying that at the end of the day, we have to use our own judgment to determine if God is moral. So that was the one point, and I just wanted to bring it back to, because I originally asked you, what makes God's morality any less arbitrary than mine? And it sounds like you're saying that I ought to follow God's commandments because I'm going to be judged and it's going to be good for my well-being. Now, it sounds like we would actually have similar sort of, I guess, similar morals at the end of the day, but the only difference is I'm not convinced that there is a God and you are. So I feel like we should go back to that and try to establish, I guess, what is the argument that there actually is a God?
Well, okay. So remember when you agreed we were finite beings who need food and rely on things? We need something to sustain us. Yeah. I would say God is the gifter of eternal life. He is the source. If you're connected to him, you will live forever. And in heaven, on the other side of this whole experiment, we will be not in sin anymore. It will be perfect. You will not experience death. You won't have strife or grief or anything like that.
But how do you know that?
Because he's revealed it in his will for us, which is the Bible.
Okay, and I'm going to play the ultimate skeptic here. Why should I accept that what's in the Bible is actually true?
Because as opposed to other religions, right, where you have some who their God doesn't really want you to know them. They're very mysterious. They're very obscure. He fleshes himself out completely. He shows you who he is, what he has done in your life, and who you are before him. And who you are before him is his most favored creation of all, man.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, just really quick before, and then you can finish your point. We're going to begin to start wrapping this topic up to move to our next. So I'm going to let Brandon finish what he was going to say. And we're going to kind of try to give each topic maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then we're going to leave some time for Q&A if people have any questions to ask. So, go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying that God exists because he's a different kind of God compared to the other religions, but that's not it doesn't sound like a reason to accept that God is actually real. And Go ahead.
Well, I thought we were focusing mainly on why should I choose your God, Pedro, right? And I would say because if you look at every religion on the face of the earth has what we call a Messiah complex, right? We have some grand person who was supposed to teach what they are as God. You got Muhammad. You got who's the dude in Buddhism? Confucius, I think. Right? What?
Buddha.
What? It was Buddha. Okay, so Buddha is Buddha.
I don't know. Yeah.
So he's here, right? What the difference is, the stark difference is between our Messiah, Jesus Christ, and every other Messiah is when he went, Buddha went back to nirvana. Muhammad says he went back to, the ether or something. I don't know. God, Jesus, when he went back into heaven, he did not leave you a laundry list of things to do, to say, this is what you need to do in order to follow me and be saved and be reunited with me and the Father. No, he says, no, because I have already saved you in the work that I have done, you are saved, and because I have done these things for you because you are saved, now you can do these things. So when you see me operate in the world, if I do any kind of charity, if I do any kind of act of kindness, it's not me trying to earn brownie points to build a bridge to way to heaven. No, I'm doing it because I have already been saved. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. But if we're answering the question of why should you choose my God over the other gods, I could grant you that your God is the best God. But the point I'm trying to raise is why. Yeah, sure. Why should I believe that God actually exists? What's the argument?
Oh, well, why should you? But so I have a bit of a problem with the question. So I don't think that me using logic and reason is going to, because there's a supernatural aspect, right? We're talking about super perfect beings who on every plane of existence are completely in control, right? In what we teach in Christianity is it's not going to be through me and logic and reason that's going to change the heart of Nathan, right? Because we believe. Oh, Brandon, sorry.
Man, you are just.
I'm doing so bad right now.
We have a completely different accent.
Really quick, I gotta drop out really quick because I think my computer's frozen, so I'm gonna restart it. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. But we don't believe you're an automaton and you have no choices in the world, right? That's not what we believe at all. It's a matter of desire if you want to believe in Jesus, right? Because your desires, if you understood the nature of the will of man, your desires dictate the choices that you make. You're not really
answering the question, though. You're not really answering the question. What's the reason?
Okay. Yeah. Only God. Only. It's not going to be me here. It's only God that can reach down into your heart. What's with the purple sweater, Jack? It's only going to be God that can reach down in your heart and give you a new heart that is able to actually believe. Right now,
but you want to convince us to.
I don't think you're actually. I don't think your will is actually free. I think your will is bonded to your desires, which is sinful, which is what to rebel against God.
Well, I mean,
you don't want God. Well, man, I don't want to sound too aggressive. It's
easy now, easy.
Yeah. You don't want to believe in God, right, Nathan, and right, Jack, or Brandon? Sorry,
I'm very open to the idea.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to believe that there's something watching over all of us.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah, you've not given us that.
Yeah.
Well, I would find that the Big Bang would be even harder to believe. So you believe that everything came from nothing. I would find that harder to believe than what we're trying to prescribe to you right now. And then the pond scum to amoebas to me, that is when you guys say evolution and this Big Bang thing, I kind of have the same. I'm like, wow, man. So, it's hard for me to believe.
That's just an argument from implausibility.
Yeah, and I could grant that those things are false, but that wouldn't be an argument to believe in God.
Well, can we say this real quick? So if we're just talking about creationism, right? And there was absolutely nothing, and you guys subscribe to the idea that there is, if we're in the domain where there is no God, right? And there's just nothingness. What in the world makes it happen? Well, I don't know. When I look at all you guys here and I see you have eyes, you have a mouth, we're communicating with each other. There's different colors in the room. There's we're saying there's an intelligent design behind this, and that is behind the eyes of an all-knowing creator, or behind the hand of an all-knowing creator, right? But you guys come and tell us that it's all just from nothing. It's just because. Which,
no, we're just telling you we don't know.
That's not gonna bring us over.
Listen. Yeah. Listen, before we move on to the next topic, right? There's billions, hundreds of billions of galaxies, stars, whatever, in the known universe. We don't know what's outside the known universe. So, if we're the center of everything, God put all His focus on Earth. What is the point? anything else? What's the point in everything else? All the billions of other stars and galaxies and suns. What are they there for?
To show you how unique your life and the human life is.
Yeah, and we're not saying that we are the center of creation. Whoa, that's a whole different narrative. There is an all-knowing plan.
Yeah, wow.
So you see, I want to just introduce it to people so they can maybe learn about it. But there is God's revealed will that we have, which is the Bible, and then there's something called His sovereign decree, which has not been revealed to us. There's an ultimate purpose here. There's an ultimate reason that, yes, He keeps to Himself. So you are not the center of all things. I would say none of us are. I would say God is in that center. So yeah, really quick. I'm just.
There was just one before we move on. Sorry, were you planning just to move on then? Like.
No, if you guys want to maybe say one last thing on this,
yeah,
and then we can go around to Nathan. Why don't you go?
Yeah, there was just one thing I'd like to say. I sort of follows on from what you were saying about the moral compass. For the small price of the surrender of your critical faculties, you too can be absolved of the original sin that you had no part in. But organized religion itself, I think, is an extension of the moral compass of the wealthy and the powerful, of the rulers. It really always makes me a little bit like nauseous to see people in like silk robes carrying golden scepters, whitewashing the reputations of criminals like the Duvaliers or Charles Keating, while they're pretending to be champions of the downtrodden. These people are like devout Christians, and they've undoubtedly read the Gospels, and so they've undoubtedly memorized the meaning of the word hypocrite. But when religious sects really stand up for the poor and the oppressed, they tend to be ostracized and persecuted, like churches preaching liberation theology in Latin America, and in particular El Salvador. And it often turns out to be the most outwardly devout Christians that are waging war against Jesus Christ.
All right. So yeah, Brandon, if you want to go, and we'll just. All right. So yeah, Brandon, if you want to go.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, this will be super quick. So, when it comes to, I don't even like using the term atheist. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, do you guys
yeah,
that's a really bad
echo. Guarantee it's coming from Jack.
Somebody's playing their shit.
Can you mute Jack?
Brittany, can you mute Jack?
Okay. What the hell's it?
We're muting you, Jack.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So when it comes to, I don't even like using the term atheist anymore because people assume all kinds of things. I just like using the term agnostic. So, but I will take the position of atheist, not claiming that there is no God, but just not being convinced. So just being an atheist only has to do with one thing, and it's just not being convinced or not believing that there is a God. So when people bring up like the Big Bang, evolution, and all of this stuff, that is separate to atheism. Now, we could be in a simulation, it could be some sort of multiverse that we live in, but the only claim that people like me are making is that we don't know. We don't claim to have an answer, and the religious people seem to actually claim that they have an answer, and I would want some sort of argument for that, whether it's for intelligent design. I've heard the Kalam cosmological argument. I've heard all of these arguments before. And one last thing when it comes to the morality thing, and I'll shut up so we can move on. What the reason I brought up how is God's morality any less arbitrary than mine, it goes back to the Euthyphro dilemma. Is something good because God commands it, or does God command it because it is good? If it's the former, it's arbitrary, and if it's the latter, God's not the source of morality. And I see no way out of that. So it's either you're just going to have to follow some sort of divine subjectivism, or morality is just relative to the individual. Yeah.
Brittany, can I ask him about, I just want to, because in the future we may talk, Brandon, were you hinting towards primary movers and secondary means there?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know.
Okay. I don't want to overcomplicate things. Brittany, it's all you.
Yeah, well, no, if you had anything else you wanted to say on this topic, you can close it out.
So I think I can leave the other stuff that I've already previously stated to the public to let them mull over. I would just say shortly and quickly to Nathan's point that I found a little bit significant. When it comes to societies or governments specifically using the Bible, I would agree that they've been using the Bible. But I would highly recommend we differentiate that any document of antiquity can be abused and used outside of the original intent of the author. And I'll leave it there.
All right. So let's move on to immigration. So I don't know. So what we lost our other Brit. So
darn.
Yeah, I guess we can just go around and just say what our stance is on immigration. If you want to start, Nathan.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that forced movement is really free movement. I don't think that you can reasonably expect to be able to control immigration properly without changing foreign policy. Yeah, the two are pretty inextricable. So if you want to get immigration under control, fix your foreign policy, and that applies to Britain as well, by the way.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, so I'm pretty immigration pilled. I think it's pretty based. So when it comes to right. So I mean, we can take this a few different ways. Whether we want to talk about crime, it doesn't seem that immigrants commit any more crime than the native population. I've seen studies where they actually commit less crime. Seems to help the economy. It seems not to hurt social cohesion. It seems to benefit our welfare programs, even though people think that they are abusing our welfare programs. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Todd.
Yeah, illegal immigration is not a good thing. I would just like to harken back to a little crony capitalism going on under the Biden campaign. Family Endeavors just got a $530 million no-bid contract, and Andrew LaRosin Straight was actually part of the Biden transition team, and he went to work for said company. We also have another
Color me shocked.
What's that? Color me
shocked.
Exactly. Well, Nathan, the one thing we do agree on is that Biden sucks. So we're going to agree on the next subject too. So somebody should mark this down that you and I agree on a couple things out of a panel.
Good Lord.
I know. What is the world coming to? But so I don't want to remove all the immigrants that are here. If you came as a kid, it's not your fault that your parents brought you over here. I'm working on a path to citizenship. The left probably won't like it, but yeah, like I said, illegal immigration is out of control right now. I love how they're no longer kids in cages, and they went back to migrant holding facilities, and they're no longer concentration camps, to quote AOC. They're just regular, immigrant holding facilities. And I do want to say that those kids are down there wrapped up like burritos, and I don't think the left is really like making a cry. I mean, way more overcrowded, and I believe way more families are being separated now than they ever were in Trump. So I would like a little bit of
wait a minute. Wait, there's no families. There's not a family
separated.
separation
when you
going.
have 30,000 kids that are coming unaccompanied, they are separated from their family.
That's a huge difference.
They were already separated.
That's not the same.
It's not the US. It's not ISIS.
For you guys.
It's not ISIS kidnapping them, is it?
Yeah, they were separating kids that were too young to know who their parents were. So how are you going to ever reunite them when they don't know who their parents are?
That's funny. If I catch a DUI, do you think they're going to separate me from my child here in
America?
Okay,
you can't equate a DUI
to. You never can. That's the funny
can't.
part. I know. It's always context. And you told me you were going to hold your side accountable. So I'd like you to do that. And I don't mean just you, Brittany. I mean the left. I talk in broad generalizations here, and I'm not trolling because, like I said, I really would. Like, where's AOC? Does she not know what's going on? Is she not going to take an empty, go down to that empty parking lot and make another photo op like she did last year? Maybe it's COVID. I don't know why she hasn't been there. So anyway, I just want the immigration. Like I said, I do want to put a hold on illegal immigration. But obviously, I don't want to deport everybody who's here. It's not their fault, and the kids, not their fault. But we got to get a hold on it, man. We literally just spent $86 million to house 1,200 people, and I'm not a math guy. That's $69,000 per person. So we could have built them houses. We could have built homeless Americans those houses. So anyway, I'm going to pass it along, but that's my stance on immigration.
Pedro, you can.
So it was shortly. I mean, we've already heard my position because on the interview, but I'm kind of agreeing with everyone in the room, and I would go towards more even so like what Nathan is saying. On the pure basis of that, I don't, if we can get it to be a more efficient system and they can do it, people doing it illegally. If Brandon's word is true and we're not abusing the resources that people have been working here for, if I think Brittany and Todd would ultimately want a child to be able to stay with their parent if they came over. All these are good things. I think we are just dealing with foreign policy here. So this is awesome. We can talk about solutions. My turmoil, internal conflict, is with the wolf at the other side of the border. And Nathan hinted to it. It's forced immigration happening. They're not moving here, I think, because of poverty. I think Mexico.
I think they are to some extent.
Okay.
But there's also a hell of a lot of violence as well. A hell of a lot of violence and crime.
And that's what I was going to get to. I totally think a lot of this is because of the cartels. And honestly, the policy that I would want to see is, if we were to start putting hits out on cartel lords and giving our generals the actual support they need, saying, hey, you're a general, you've studied war, you know how to conduct war. This is just a low-level cartel gang who's abusing people that are severely vulnerable. Can you just go into the woods and take out this wolf? I bet my bottom dollar, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, my boy, he would be able to say, thumbs up, Pedro, just get out of my way. And I think the problem is we have actually moved against the cartel a lot of times, but every time, something bad happens, and I'm not saying this lightly, but unfortunately, you see a dead kid, right? You see a woman who gets in the crossfire or something like that, some atrocity. And it was an accident. It was a genuine accident. Why? Because we're in the midst of a war here and we're trying to take care of this thing, and they want to take hostages and use people. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have to push forward, realize that bad things are going to happen, and just take out this cancer that are the cartels. I think it all lies there. I think there's corruption in the Mexican government that has made their warriors incapable or downright corrupt themselves to the point where they cannot and they don't want to get rid of the cartels. So yeah, that's my position. So if we can talk policy here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, which countries tend to be the worst for immigration? That are sending a hell of a lot of people. It's places like it's often from the Southern Cone. It's from Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala.
But it's not right now. It's Mexico mainly. I'll get you. I'm gonna go find it because I have it somewhere in my.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
it's a high percentage Mexico right now.
Yeah, and to back you up on that,
traditionally, it's often been like the Southern Cone. I think the cartel's a bit of a boogeyman. If I'm being honest, the reason that people places like Guatemala and Nicaragua, El Salvador have fallen into just
here we go.
Here we do go.
Here we go.
Is to a large extent American foreign policy. I mean, the fact that the U.S. created a civil war in Guatemala that lasted 36 years, that's probably going to have some knock-on effects.
And if we do want to talk about policy, and if we are concerned about the cartels, would you guys be open to ending the war on drugs? Because I feel like that would take a lot of power away from the cartels.
Yeah, it would.
Oh yeah. I think I don't see. I don't think the war on drugs is a good way to combat drug abuse, which is ultimately its purpose, right? People think that the underlying issue is
really.
The underlying issue is people think that drugs lead to immorality and ultimately just death, and just in a being in society who's not contributing to everything. That's what people have in their mind. And I would just promote, I wouldn't promote a war. I would just go back, hey, can we refund the DARE program? Can we educate people about drugs, what their effects are, what they do to your body? I would go that route. I wouldn't say, let's start locking people up, let's start raiding houses for 5 grams of weed and freaking guns blazing, ride the lightning kind of crap.
Yeah.
I don't think that's conducive at all.
Yeah, well, the point of the war on drugs was to criminalize black people and hippies.
True.
I mean, that it's nothing to do with drugs at all. It's literally to criminalize a large segment of the population.
Thank you, Joe Biden. 94 crime bill.
Yeah, thank you, Joe Biden. Yeah.
I love that. So Todd always gives me a hard time. Todd always gives me a hard time.
Thank you, every president since Richard Nixon.
No, Todd always likes
Todd's
to
bringing that up because of the crime bill. That's the crime bill, sir. Nathan, you're just describing the crime bill, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, that wasn't our side, right?
No, well, Richard Nixon was, though. I mean, it's largely bipartisan, though. That's that's part of the problem. You can't really vote against it.
Yeah, no, Todd always likes to give am I not like, can you guys not hear me or something? Or is this just like...
No, we're just talking over you.
What the hell?
Nothing to see here.
What the hell up?
Nothing to see here, Brittany.
Yeah, my bad, Brittany. I got to use the bathroom here.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, I will literally kill you right now. I'm not literally. Don't catch me on an algorithm or something.
Cancel her.
No, but yeah, I freaking... Todd likes to give me a hard time how I always will bring up Trump all the time. You do that with the 94 crime bill, like way more than I do with Trump. But we didn't get Jack's stance on immigration, and so I don't know if you wanted to give what your stance is because we moved on to immigration while you were gone.
I'm against the. I'm in favour of a reasonable immigration policy. At the minute, we've got something like 400,000 net migrants coming to the country every year, and it's our population is only 18 million, so we're adding 5% onto our population year after year, and every new migrant that comes in lowers the demand and value of labour for the working class. That's my position.
Did you vote for Brexit when?
I did, yeah.
And I mean, so I don't know if you guys can tell me, because from what I think, that immigration kind of was a big issue that.
Yeah, it was what drove Brexit.
Yeah. Okay. And same thing with Trump. Immigration.
I think also there's like a healthy sort of like skepticism about like just the complete lack of democracy within the European Union's institutions. But I think it was primarily immigration that drove Brexit.
And,
I mean,
I think it will have to do with independence.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say independence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more sort of like open the borders and maybe change our foreign policy so that so that they don't have any reason to leave. But
what's the benefit?
We can agree to disagree, but like I think what you and I would actually both share was actually a real skepticism about, for instance, how the European Central Bank treated Greece, where they essentially inflicted just a completely artificial Great Depression on Greece to punish them for trying to usurp the intellectual consensus of austerity.
Yeah, I agree with you, and they'll never recover.
No, there's. I mean, nobody is more responsible for the rise of the fucking Nazi Party in Greece than the European Central Bank.
What they call Golden Dawn, in it.
Golden Dawn, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know because we are kind
of. But can we also say, because you're bashing your own country, I'll give it some defense. Can we also say no one is secondly, because we're over here, we're number one for the reason why Hitler fell. So I would say, isn't there no one else that's more secondly pivotal in the fall of the Nazi Germany Party in the 1940s?
We were talking about the modern equivalent in Greece. Golden Dawn are a party now. We're not talking about like the 1940s. We're talking about the rise of fascism in Greece today.
Oh yeah, I was just trying to give your country some points, bro. I'm just you're saying your country's.
Yeah, I mean that's a bit of a mixed bag as well. I mean, like our a lot of the aristocracy in this country were essentially Nazi sympathizers. I mean, like for instance, the founder of the Daily Mail, he encouraged Hitler to invade Czechoslovakia and Poland. I think it was. I can't remember what his name was. It was like Lord Viscount de Rothermere something. But he was just a Nazi sympathizer. King Edward VIII, he believed that continued heavy bombing would make Britain ready to surrender, because he wanted the Nazis to win so that he'd be put on the throne. And we never really we never really like denazified the aristocracy in this country in the post-war period. I mean, we did to some extent, because there was a fairly famous book called Guilty Men, and it's about Neville Chamberlain and all of the other sort of disgusting, all of the other scum that appeased Hitler in the build-up to the Second World War, and it was pretty instrumental in destroying Chamberlain's reputation. I mean, he was just completely disgraced. But we did, the ties of the sympathies of the aristocracy towards fascism are much deeper than just a couple of than just a prime minister who appeased them. Much deeper.
Nathan, can you just say for me that you love your country?
Well, some of the royals.
Just say you love your country.
Yeah, some of the King Edward VIII. Yeah. I mean, there was a picture of the Queen's mother doing a Nazi salute.
Mm.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't think the Queen's mother was a Nazi, but the fact that this was sort of like seen as like a normal thing, this was like the done thing, is pretty sick, actually.
And I'm not going to lie, I don't know shit
Yeah,
about this subject, because as an American, we are in our own little bubble and we are the only people that matter. So I do apologize if I'm a little quiet when we're talking about Brexit and the UK, Britain, all this stuff. So,
quick question. Since I don't know about all the things about the history of your country, Nathan, but I know a little bit. Do you know English common law? Do you know Sir William Blackstone?
No. To be honest with you, I'm less familiar with English history than I am with American history. to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, English history is like a hell of a lot longer, though. In all fairness,
it's cool.
It's really long.
But dude, it's cool, and I'm not saying you're just straight bashing on your country. You could just
he bashes on ours too, though.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not my place to defend it, but King Arthur and the sword. That's an awesome mythology, and I've read some of your history. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, King it's unlikely that King Arthur ever existed. I don't think there's any real evidence, for the sort of the Knights of the Round Table.
It was pre-England anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
England was only.
So you guys, we're gonna have to because we were running. We're gonna go around and just say one last thing on immigration. Then we're gonna move to the last topic, because we do have a debate right after this. So we'll have to finish it up. So So I don't know if you wanted to go backwards. Maybe Pedro, you start, and we'll go to Jack next, and then.
Yeah, immigration is simple. We just need to cure the wolf that is the cartel. I just want us to treat that as seriously as possible. We don't, I care for, those people that I've seen in harm's way, and I believe that's what's the actual solution, is dealing with the Mexican cartels.
Yeah. So Jack.
I think multiculturalism altogether has been a complete failure. I'm not saying it couldn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't work all the time. But in America, you've got the Black Lives Matter stuff going on, where anytime anything bad happens to a black person, it's automatically assumed to be racism, like George Floyd. And then in England, we've got we've got more problems with Islam. We've got, like, for example, Rotherham police, who ignored the abuse of thousands of young girls because they were scared of being called racist. Yeah, they were scared of being called racist.
Can you expand on that? What happened? Tell me about that. Real quick.
Yeah, in Rotherham, in Yorkshire, there's it happens all over the country, but Pakistani Muslim men trafficking children, basically, or abusing young girls. And Rotherham police came out and said they didn't take action because they didn't want to be perceived as racist. And there was a big scandal about it in the UK, and anyone who criticised them in any way was just called a racist. So So anyone saying
Okay.
multiculturalism has been a success in the Western world's a liar. It's not. It's causing all the problems, all the division. England and America.
Yeah, Todd, if you want to.
Yeah, pretty much. There was the 1984 drug bill Biden sponsored. The oh wait, I'm doing immigration. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm all over the place. No, I really just want to listen. I hope you don't do anything with it because that'll just be a shoo-in in 2024. So don't do anything with immigration, and we'll get Trump 2024 with no problem. So keep doing exactly what you're doing, and you'll have 2016 all over again. But I don't want to kick everybody out either. So I have a solution. It's still in the works. Later on, I will unveil it.
Oh yeah, that's what Trump would say for everything too. But where's that like healthcare
It's going to be
plan?
the best solution.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know much about the Europe and their immigration policies and how immigration is going over there. But in the U.S., it seems to be an overall good thing. I do have, I know Jack brought up basically multiculturalism. I do have a meta-analysis showing that diversity doesn't seem to hurt social cohesion. Immigration seems to help out our economy. It's a net benefit. The only people it seems to hurt are people without high school diplomas, and their wages are only depressed by like 1 or 2%, which could easily be reconciliated with some sort of redistributive policy or just pay them more, for more unions. That's my sort of thing. It doesn't seem that immigrants commit more crime than the native population. So I think, at least in the U.S., it's an overall good thing. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Nathan.
Well, I probably couldn't disagree more with Jack about what he said about multiculturalism. I think that the reason we have refugees fleeing to this country is because we're like sort of bombing them. I think it's naturally. I think that's for instance in Syria, that it's naturally going to be somewhat kind of difficult for them to assimilate. I mean, the reason they're coming is because we're making it impossible for them to live there. Is it?
If someone's bombing you, you don't go and move to their country, do you?
Well, they're not going to bomb themselves, are you? Are we going to bomb ourselves? We're not going to bomb ourselves, are we?
We're bombing them, so why would they come here?
Well, because because they wouldn't bomb this country.
And
I
opportunity.
would bomb your country in a minute.
No,
I fucking know you would, God.
The B-52s are up now.
Oh,
I know. No, it's a joke because Nathan and I had this long, ongoing feud, and I thought we were going to agree. No, I'm kidding. He knows I'm kidding.
You
I wouldn't use the
B-52.
I wouldn't use the B-52. I'd use the B-1 or B-2 bomber. But.
All right. So,
sorry.
Let's move on to the last topic.
I wasn't
Go
really
ahead,
finished.
Nathan.
Wait, Brittany, what's your closing statement? You didn't tell us.
Well, I'll let Nathan finish.
Yeah, let Nathan finish.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, the same thing is true to a large extent of American foreign policy. I mean, I know Pedro was talking about dealing with the cartel. Well, why is it that the largest narco state in Latin America is one of America's biggest allies? That would be Colombia, by the way. Why is it that corrupt and repressive regimes like Honduras, people are fleeing from there? Well, why might that be? It's because there was a military coup in Honduras in 2008 that was pretty much universally condemned by like everybody, apart from the country, of course, that actually facilitated the coup, which is the United States. And the reason, when you look at a map of Latin America, you can probably see why Honduras is so important to them. It's smack bang in the middle of the southern cone. You're inviting the enemy here. Well, why exactly are they our enemy? I mean,
because you said we're bombing them. If we're bombing them, then they're our enemy, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes, but why are we deciding to bomb them? Why would we go? What? I know you're not.
Well, who's bombing them?
Yeah.
Let's just get to the bottom of it. Who's bombing them?
I mean, we're bombing Syria. We're bombing. Well, we've been occupying Iraq for quite a long time, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, and that's a 2009 Honduras coup. Nathan doesn't like to follow facts. It was 2009, and the Clinton State Department was behind it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was legitimized by Obama. Yeah, I know.
But Nathan, what you just said there, he just said the Clintons, and then you just said Obama, right?
Yeah, well, it was Obama that was in power in 2008. I mean,
so really quick, if you could answer the question, what's the defining line between those people you stated? What is Todd probably trying to get at there?
I think he's probably trying to point out the fact that they're Democrats, but then I could probably point to the fact that there's been plenty of coups under Republican presidents too, because American foreign policy is very bipartisan.
No, I just wanted to prove Nathan was wrong about the date. Really, I like to.
Was it just a year? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just a year. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. The Democrats and Republicans do this stuff. No, I don't. I am a conservative, but yeah, no, Republicans have done some horrible shit too. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, my closing, for me personally, I don't really care much about immigration. It's not, I care less if people come. I think DACA is ideal for everybody. You're going to have the exact kind of people you would want, people that are contributing, they're tax paying, and they're not allowed to take any benefits, but they are, they're contributing. They have to go to school. They can't have a record. So I think that's like ideal, but I do know that immigration is a weakness for Democrats, and that's kind of my only reasoning that I would want them to, get it together, because we will lose elections if we don't figure something out to get it under control. And that's more my concern than anything of how it's going to affect us with winning elections, because then you end up with people who are not going to be as compassionate and are not going to be as towards immigrants. So I would rather Democrats actually do something about it than Republicans. So.
Brittany, if you just step over, you're right there. Just step over the line. We will be so kind to immigrants. If you're right there.
She's coming, bro. She's coming.
We'll welcome you home.
The leftists hate her. The leftists hate regular liberals more than we do. So I'm trying to build coalitions with the Bernie bros. I'm trying to build coalitions with everybody. But anyway. So.
So our last topic we're going to discuss pulling out of Afghanistan. So I'm not sure how everybody feels on that. Nathan, I know you're probably very happy about it. So why don't you get us started on that?
Yeah, well, I'm happy, but I'm also pretty cynical. I think that the CIA and the Pentagon will do absolutely everything in their power to ensure that it doesn't happen. I think that the CIA will try to engineer they'll try to drive up violence and massacres and et cetera. They'll lie about whatever it's necessary to lie about. I mean, you've also got a problem of a very actually, I thought it was interesting watching the media coverage of the proposed withdrawal. Because it was almost unanimously it showed like a really rare level of like just complete uniformity that's actually like you rarely see it outside of like Stalinist Russia, where like all of the intellectuals in the pundit bureau were all saying, oh well, the experts say that the pullout from Afghanistan could jeopardize and blah 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 blah. So the media are actually going to be a real problem as well. So I'm pretty skeptical.
Okay, so Brandon.
Yeah, I basically share that sentiment, but from my understanding, I haven't read too much into it. I've been trying to take a break from politics and not consume as much media. Holy shit! From my understanding, Joe Biden is kind of doing this for political points, that they're not actually going to be pulling everybody out of Afghanistan, and they are still going to leave certain, I don't know if it's going to be like special operations in Afghanistan.
Death squads.
Death squads. That's the term.
There was. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead. You probably know more than I do.
There was a report by The Intercept about.
I doubt that.
There was a report. I don't. But there was a report in The Intercept about later on in the Trump administration about how the CIA was training death squads in Afghanistan to commit massacres against civilian villages. So yeah, they'll stay. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like Nathan said, I'm very skeptical of what's going to come out of this. Are they really going to do it? I doubt it, but I guess we'll see. That's I don't know what more to say because like I said, I haven't read much into it, and I'm just very skeptical of both sides. Not to be the enlightened centrist here. If Joe Biden says he's going to do something, I'm very skeptical of it. So he's already pulled back on a lot of his campaign promises. So I'm very skeptical of what's going to happen in Afghanistan as well.
Okay. I don't know, Jack, or Todd, why don't you go?
Do you want to go first?
Todd?
Well, whichever, Jack. If you want to go, or I'll go. You're.
You
what
can
do you want to do?
You can go first. You're all right.
Okay,
You go first. You're all right.
So this is where Nathan and I agree, but the reasons might be different. Yeah, it's never going to happen because we have went a year without losing one single, at least from February to February of 2020 to February 2021, 0 casualties from U.S. troops. Now, what do I see happening? I see the suicide bombing. Actually, Trump wanted to be out of there by May 1st. So we would have been out. That deal started last February. It would have been 14 months. Total withdrawal. Now, what we found out happened in Syria was that they were playing a little shell game. We remember, well, first, let's just go back to Syria. Remember, Trump is killing all the Kurds and the doctored war footage, which was actually a firing range in Tennessee, but then it was perceived as, the Kurds getting annihilated, but never really happened. So the media, this is another point where Nathan and I are going to agree. It's scary. The media is going to ramp this up. We're going to start seeing, we're at April 16th. I say probably around mid-May, we're going to start seeing Taliban suicide bombings again. We'll lose a couple of
That
troops. Yeah, well, because remember, May 1st is when Trump was going to be out. That was the agreement with the Taliban. So then give them 2 weeks, right? We got to start getting the C4 and the Semtex to the actual people to do the bombings. And it'll never happen. And the reason it'll never happen is because old Grandpa Joe filled his cabinet with a bunch of defense contractors from Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Avril Haines, Jake Sullivan, William Burns, who took over the CIA. Funny, because they're going to be the one running this op. And I don't see it happening. I hope it does. But if you would have voted right, it would have already happened in May 1st. So you guys voted wrong, and you get what you get now. But I hope that I am wrong, and I hope Nathan and I are both wrong on this point. He's normally wrong. I'm normally not, and that's how that normally goes. Anyway,
I do it for a living.
I know. Being wrong is definitely your career.
All right, Jack.
I wish we were all friends, man. We could all have beers, go out, and we could just watch Todd and Nathan go at it. It would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all three of you.
Where'd he go? You back?
Yeah, Pedro, your camera keeps.
Yeah, so I agree with all. I agree with all three of you.
Sorry, Jack. I think you're on a bit of a delay.
Yeah, there's something going
It's
on.
fine anyway.
I'm still here. If you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you got me. All right. I agree with all three of you, and but I'm a bit like Brandon. I don't really know what's going on in withdrawing from Iraq, but I don't think America are going to cede the region to Russia, because if America pull out, Russia move in. I think the CIA can't be trusted with anything they say. They're an organisation that spread misinformation as their profession. So yeah, I think Joe Biden's just saying what people want to hear. That's about it. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, Pedro, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. You guys are all saying things that I think we're all gonna agree with. I don't know what's going on, dude. Like when we first bombed Syria, I was like, what? dude, it's only been like 3 months. What are you doing? Like, why? Why am I in another war? Why is insulin like up already? Why is my taxes already? I'm just feeling my pocket getting bitten out of by some invisible shark, you know. So I don't know what this whole we're not pulling out. Oh, I thought we were pulling out deal is going on. So yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think we all agree here.
Yeah,
Let's get out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, and I think there's only what I've heard is there's only I mean we had like over 100,000 troops there, and we have like 3,000 troops there right now. So I mean it's not
Publicly.
quite what
Publicly, yeah. I mean, the CIA will have, they'll have their death squads, but they're not going to count towards the the total number of soldiers stationed there.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Well,
this
the
isn't like really
sponsoring militias as well.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, local militias that are on the CIA's payroll.
It'd be cool. It would be cool if we supported the. Do you guys know about the militias in Mexico that actually fight the cartels?
I do not.
The Zapatistas.
I'm so down for supporting those fools. Let's go.
Yeah.
What do you need, sir? We're here for you.
They would never do that though.
Yeah, CGNG. Anybody wants to Google something, go watch CGNG, which is El Mencho. El Mencho, I guess he took over for who's the dude in jail now with the billions of dollars? I don't know what
El Chapo Guzman.
El Chapo, yes, he took over for El Chapo. Different cartel. Listen, Google that. It's on YouTube, and they have a whole column. They have like 200 Toyotas, and it's like, I guess that didn't ring a bell when somebody wanted to buy all the same Toyotas. They've got Browning 50s. They've got every. So the cartel is, thank you, George Bush and Obama, Operation Fast and Furious. And when Bush started arming the cartels in 2006, I can't think of what, Brittany knows the name of that operation. We both know, it's funny, we both know how to shit on each other's party. It's pretty funny. Me and Brittany have that good relationship. But yeah, Bush did start that and Obama continued it. So it's just...
Operation Wide Receiver,
yes, and then it followed up as Fast and Furious. So it's you know what, I would love to wage war on all these people, but yeah, I also, being a nationalist, I don't want to be involved. So being a nationalist and isolationist, you should be on board with my position. Let's get out of all this shit and let's bring it home and let's start doing the infrastructure here, right? We could use the Army Corps of Engineers instead of building roads in Afghanistan. Now we broke it. We have to fix it. That's the old Marshall Plan, you break it, you bought it type shit. But yeah, man, let's bring these people home, man. Let's bring our boys home and let's start fixing America. America first. That's my position.
Yeah, and we try to fix America, and then Republicans don't want to do that either. I mean, we're getting all this shit about, the bills, like the infrastructure bill, and it's too much money. We can't spend that. Like, how are we going to fix the money? How are we going to fix America?
Next week, we can dig into the infrastructure bill because really only 10% of that, 10 to 15 is going on actual infrastructure. So that would be a good topic for next week. We can break that down if you want. But yeah, I agree. Listen, our bridges, I need some kind of engineers. I'll link it somewhere. There are dams, bridges, they are in disrepair. It's some kind of engineers united, one of these engineer groups. Now they could probably want to be getting the jobs doing this infrastructure shit, but our shit, they do it every 4 years. And anyway, there's a lot of dams, a lot of levees, a lot of bridges that are under disrepair. So let's fix that shit. I'm cool with it, but let's see where that money's going to. I don't want to just hand it out.
Hell yeah, Comrade Todd. I love it.
I see you at the commentary.
Kill at the comrade stuff.
No, definitely no.
You lost me, brother. We were all together. You lost me.
No, definitely not me. No. Pinochet helicopter tours will be getting ramped up. But there's certain things that socialists, not commies, but socialists, that are, I'm like, okay, I can take a little bit of what they did, but no, I am a capitalist, and yeah, there's no comrades here. I want to own my own toothbrush, man. I'm sorry, I'd like to keep my own.
That's the first thing we're coming for: toothbrushes and hair combs.
I think the first thing you're coming for is the gun.
Comb doesn't work in my hair, brother. That afro is a little too thick, but a pick, you might try to take my pick. Keep your hands off my pick.
Hey, at least you have hair,
From my cold dead
hands.
Yeah, I will say, Brandon, that beard is fresh. Good job, brother. Keep
Dude,
it going.
I can only grow it here, so I got to grow hair somewhere. So.
Yeah, no, this isn't really honestly a topic that interests me all that much, the Afghanistan.
We all agree. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, wasn't me who decided this topic.
No, I mean, we can keep talking about it, but like you said, it sounds like people haven't
we
really.
basically agree.
Yeah,
It's just a really point for Nathan and I to come together and build this bridge across the Atlantic that eventually I will bomb. And no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Leave him out of this. Anyway, but no, I'm just kidding. But it was something that we could actually agree on. And it was like, yeah, I hope it does happen though. I really do. I hope they get out. Obama got on board too and was like, yeah, good job, Joe. So I'm like, well, wasn't it probably your decision? You're probably the guy running this op from the basement. Yeah, no, well, yeah.
I think Biden's actually been doing a lot better than I was expecting.
Wait. So 3 terms is okay now? So
yeah, if it's Obama.
Okay. Yeah, if it's Obama. Yeah, funny. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Well,
Hey, I'll take that little loophole. It's a loophole. Not quite 3 terms. So, yeah, no, I think Biden's been he's a lot more progressive than I was expecting him to be. So I mean, like Brandon, I haven't been paying quite as much attention. I mean, I haven't watched the news, I think in well over a week, like 10 days. And where I used to have like MSNBC like ingrained in my it was literally burned into my TV. I have a picture of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was
That's too much.
So it's been nice not watching the news and worrying about everything that's going to happen. But yeah, I'm not quite as up to date with things as I normally am when it was burned into my TV.
Imagine that though. But imagine that. So just a new regime, and it's like I just stopped paying attention.
It's nice. It's nice, like because we've all been for 4 years. We were literally stuck. I mean, it exhausted us. It really exhausted me. Like we were freaking.
It was a news story every day.
Yeah, it was very exhausting, and so it's kind of like having a little bit of a vacation and not having to. I'm breathing again a bit.
So you missed the Veritas where the guy from CNN was actually talking about.
I know he got banned off of Twitter though.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know exactly what
happened.
Isn't that crazy though? To branch to the other side real quick. Can you guys admit that that's crazy that Veritas dude got banned off Twitter? Is that not crazy?
I have to look into it.
It's a private platform. You have to follow the rules. You know what else got pulled off of Facebook? Patrice Cullors buying 5 mansions. Yeah, you can't share that either. The BLM.
That's the BLM founder.
The Marxist who bought 5 upscale mansions in white neighborhoods.
It got banned?
Yeah, you can't share it. You cannot well, I don't know.
Was it not true?
No, it is true, but it's the New York Post, who I believe is like one of the longest serving papers. No, it's true. It's true, but it doesn't fit the narrative of.
Yeah, it gives a nice full picture of what Marxists, the leaders, really want. I need to control the masses. In her case, she could race hustle the mess out of black people, and then all right, I got it. Now I'm going to do whatever I want, which is nothing I told them I was going to do, which is buy 5 mansions worth millions of dollars now in neighborhoods that have nothing to do with my community. It was crazy.
Yep.
I mean, do you think that Marxists want privately owned corporations to be censoring news stories to appease who's in power, to avoid getting fucked over by antitrust?
Well, I'm just saying history. I'm just saying history has a record, and this has happened every single time. And it just happened on a smaller scale. There, you see with BLM.
It's happening with capitalist corporations.
We're going to do it right this time, though. Yeah, don't worry. No, this time we're going to do communism the right way. We're going to do real democratic socialism this time. Yes, we're going to
but Facebook
violently seize the means
Facebook
of
aren't
control.
really communists, are they?
No,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, and democratic
socialists,
socialists, they only push for policies that are shown to work in other countries.
Yeah. I know we're going to do it right this time. I know.
That's
funny. I know it's good. I listen, comrade. It'll be good. You lose me with seizing the means of production, though, and this violent revolution. But like you said, the true leftists are pro-gun, so we can agree on that.
True,
so
very pro-gun.
Yep, I've got mine.
Brandon, so I have a question. Since we've never really interacted much with you, so did you vote for Bernie in the
Voted for Bernie in the primary, and I was crying as I had to vote for Joe Biden in the actual election. Yeah.
Yeah, and were you Bernie in 2016 too?
In 2016, it's funny. That's when I first started getting into politics, like
Yeah, me
2015,
too.
2016. And I was actually a fucking ANCAP. I was an anarcho-capitalist when I first got into politics. And I am now on the completely other side of the spectrum. So in 2016, I didn't give a shit. I was just like, oh, state is bad, corporations good. So, yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, dude. It took me a minute, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Who was your second and third choice in the primary?
Geez. Second choice probably Elizabeth Warren, and then third choice maybe Pete Buttigieg.
Yes,
Something like that. Yeah.
boy, Pete.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If I was to vote in the primary, I would say the same thing. Apart from like number 3 would just be like suicide.
Right.
Whoa,
Well,
hell, Nathan. Change
Funny guy.
See, this is the problem with that atheism. I'm telling you.
That's that relative morality speaking right there.
Yeah.
For real.
Actually, it'd be Marianne Williamson. It would have been.
Right, yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, she was pretty based. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Tulsi Gabbard. I think she's a bit of a grifter.
Yeah, same.
Tulsi Gabbard probably would have done really well.
Grifter.
Actually, she would have got
those playing
she would've
Nathan
gotten-
Bingo. There's the one grifter. I knew it. Coming.
Yeah, she would have done a lot of Republicans. But yeah, no, I don't know.
She's anti-war. That's why the Democrats didn't vote.
She would know, but she
Yeah.
trashed the
Pro-Israel.
Democrats a lot. That was a big issue that a lot of Democrats had. She would just trash all the Democrats. I mean, that's why she was constantly going on, Tucker Carlson and all these. It's like she was going after Republicans in our primary, which was it was weird. I was actually really surprised when she did decide to endorse Biden. I was expecting her to like run as a third party or something. That's where I felt like she was going, because it was just her behavior was super weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, she's anti-war, but like the majority and like the mainstream of the Democratic Party are pro-Israel. That was not what got her into trouble.
Whoa, okay, it's taking quite a turn. No, I'm kidding. Hey, Marianne Williamson is like you definitely know she's all about them crystals and like healing magic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about that. I mean,
I'm gonna smudge this room and she's she's definitely a poet too, doesn't she write poetry? So
yeah, she's an author.
I thought she actually wrote poetry too. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's what she wrote.
Reparations orb grandma. I mean, I'd vote for that.
She's definitely a hippie, but I think her policy prescriptions were pretty in line with people me and Bernie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna probably start to wind this down. Because Todd and I are gonna have to get ready for our next debate. But so if you guys just want to go around, just say one last thing before we shut it down. I don't know who wants to go first.
On what topic?
Just in general, just whatever anything you want to say.
Okay. Okay.
You want to go? Okay. Are you going?
Me.
Is that what he said? Did he say he's gonna go?
Go, Jack.
Go, Jack, go.
All right. Religion. I don't think there's no evidence for it, so I'm not gonna radically alter my life and live this completely different new life based on nothing. What was the second topic? It was immigration. I support a reasonable immigration policy. I don't want to keep people out. I don't want to kick people out either. I'd rather reduce it to a manageable level so that the working class aren't suffering as a cause of flooding the job market with all these new unskilled workers. And as for the Afghanistan thing, like I said, I don't really know much about what's going on on that topic, but I don't think they're gonna pull out, because, like I say, they've been competing with Russia for the Middle East since what, 80s, maybe way earlier than that actually. So no, they won't pull out of Afghanistan, at least not entirely.
Okay. Pedro, if you wanna.
Oh, yeah. Speaking on the religion topic, I would just say I hope I've been able to demonstrate all the Christian points of view here in a manner where obviously everybody can see we're being friendly, we're tossing jokes back and forth, we're having a good time. I hope I've been able to demonstrate, what exactly it is we believe, and do that in a loving manner. In terms of, atheism, I would say, obviously, bullet point, they cannot give you any purpose, meaning, or value to your life. They weren't able to answer my questions on that side. I have to say that. And then on our side, we were able to answer that question. Whereas heading into immigration, we kind of all agree here. I think we just want to take different approaches. I think it's always heinous to deny people who are genuinely in need of help any assistance. And I think we can all here say that is what they're looking for on that side over there. So I would say I want to deal with the cartels. And then the last thing, we all agree on Afghanistan, the war in we don't even know what is going on, it sounds like, or why we're there. So obviously everybody wants to pull out. Thanks for tuning in and listening to what I have to say. I very much appreciate the audience.
Okay, Brandon?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I would really like to do this again. I'm sorry for the internet issues. Quick story. So last night, me and my girl were watching Wild 'N Out, and all of a sudden the internet goes out, and she kept saying she smelled piss. I go to unplug the router, and there's piss all over my hands.
No.
Yeah, the cat pissed on my router, so I've been having internet issues since then. So I do apologize. Cringe. But when it comes to religion, I have yet to hear a convincing argument for why somebody should believe in God. And I'm not going to go after Pedro here because he said something I disagree with, but it's okay. We'll do this again, my dude.
Yes, we will.
Immigration is good, at least in the U.S. I'm not sure about Europe. And when it comes to Afghanistan, I'm just very skeptical. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I appreciate you having me on. I hope I can come on again. And if you want, I stream on Twitch, like I said, and Facebook, twitch.tv/ it's just my government name. Okay. It's just Brandon Mize right there. And then facebook.com/Brandon P Mize. So now you know my middle initial as well.
Yeah, send me that information. I'll put it in the intro as well. So, and I have yours, Pedro. But yeah, if you guys have any contacts that you want people to have, send them to me, and I'll put them in the intro. Nathan?
So on religion, I just don't believe in it, but I'm honestly just like not that invested in the argument. I mean, I used to be. I actually went through a really when I was younger, I went through like a sort of a new atheist phase. I don't know if you know.
True.
I don't know if you know like the Christopher Hitchens and the Sam Harrises of the world.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like Sam Harris anymore. I think he's a bit of a reactionary, but I'm still quite glad for it because I still really like Christopher Hitchens. Even though like post 9/11 he just became a bit of a toad. On immigration, I think it's just completely inseparable from foreign and economic policy. I don't think you can really have a comprehensive immigration reform without having a comprehensive foreign policy reform. And Jack made a good point about wage deflation, which is why, first of all, we should support the trade union movement, and it's also why I think our foreign policy ought to include attempts to raise wages in countries in which we do our manufacturing. So, for instance, if you want to send your manufacturing overseas to China, then we should pursue a policy of trying to make the Chinese raise their wages so that it doesn't artificially deflate wages here. On Afghanistan, everything's already been said. I'm pretty skeptical. The CIA are a bunch of fucking criminals. Left is best. Arrest the bankers. Baba booey, baba booey.
Okay, Todd.
Yeah, I'll just let Sir Isaac Newton speak about the God thing. The physical laws he had uncovered reveal that the mechanical perfection of the workings of the universe to be akin to a watch, wherein the watchmaker is God. And you should peep Dr. Stephen Meyer, signature in cell DNA and the evidence for intelligent design. that's it. The other stuff, it was nice to agree with Nathan for like 5 minutes. I want to thank everyone for coming on. We definitely will do this again. It was a nice little spirited debate. I like to have funsies, and you never know what I'm joking about and what I'm being real about. So I was joking about bombing the UK, but
well, I appreciate the clarification.
Other stuff I wasn't, so I'll let you decide what I was joking about. Anyway, thank you for everyone popping on. I really do appreciate it. A good spirited debate. And and next week I'm going to go over British war crimes because, like Nathan said, they did invent the concentration camp. So British war crimes. That will be my little PowerPoint next week.
That'll be a good one.
Yes. Anyway,
there's a lot of them.
On the
Nathan, why would you say that would be a good one? It's against your country. I feel like you're not British. Like
he has no love of country, my friend.
Say it for me. I love my country.
Well, that's why I like to understand its history.
Me too.
Okay, so yeah, we do have a debate. It's a 2-on-2 debate between 2 libertarian socialists and 2 right-leaning libertarians, and I have a feeling it's going to be kind of a socialism versus capitalism type of thing, but they're going to kind of just go over their ideology and
your dictionaries.
Yeah. And then we are going to be off. Yeah. We are going to be off until I think next Thursday, where we will have another debate. But I'm moving, so I have to do that.
Did you put that in with me? I don't think I got that paperwork. I know you're the boss and everything, but I don't know. I don't think I signed off on that. But anyway, I will allow it.
There you go. So we are gonna be we'll have a little bit of a break and then we'll be back. But other than that, thank you guys so much for coming on. We will be doing this again on Friday because we're doing these every week for the group, The Great Debate. And we're just going to take polls of different topics and see what people want to talk about. I hope next week's they're better topics. These topics aren't really my type of topics, to be honest. But
do we get to submit a topic?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Perfect. I thought it was just the viewers get to put in a poll.
No, submit again, and we poll it for the group. And so if you guys have any topic suggestions, give them up. We'll take it.
I hear a lot of people in the Facebook group talk about the trans community, so I would
oh
like
my
to
god,
talk
that group
about
is
that.
literally obsessed with it.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with the trans community?
This group, I've never seen
a Facebook group, not like Republicans or anything in general.
No,
even
I've
though
never
they kind
seen
of
a group so obsessed with it. A lot of people just they talk about that a lot. So but we do try to have both left and right wing views on this show every time. So we try to even it out. So we are gonna close this down. Thank you guys again for coming on, and we'll see you in about an hour. Yeah, about an hour and 15 minutes, and we will be back. So good night, folks.
Cheers.
See you later.